Greetings and thanks for tuning in, and happy first week of fall. Our COVID rates continue to be in the substantial transmission category according to the CDC. The relatively positive news is that we are in the lower category than most of our neighbors, as you can see from this map. And we currently have the lowest test positivity rate in the state. However, our case rates are significantly higher now than they were this time last year without the vaccine. As you can see from this chart, on this date last year, we had 53.11 cases per 100,000 residents. This week, we're at 84.23 cases per 100,000. And COVID cases continue to increase among children, who are accounting for nearly 30% of all cases reported statewide. Those under 18 make up only 22% of our state's total population, meaning they are being disproportionately impacted than their proportion of the population. Some people still think that this virus doesn't impact kids because at the beginning our elderly were hardest hit. But the reality is that we need to be aware that our children are vulnerable, especially now that school is back full time. And again, the relatively good news is that despite the increase in cases, our high vaccination rates continue to mitigate the problems. Our COVID vaccination rates continue to be the best in the nation among large jurisdictions. Almost 75% of our total population are fully vaccinated, and over 82% have at least one dose. 83% of our eligible population are fully vaccinated, and 97% of this eligible population has at least one dose. The difference between the eligible and the total population is the eligible population are those over 12 years old. As you can see from this chart depicting the volume of vaccinations in our county, our vaccination rates have slowed to about half to 2/3 of a percentage point increase each week. But maintaining this level of increase per week is still important. We need those of you with one dose to please come in and get your second shot. And for those of you who have not been vaccinated, take a look at what's happening in this county and this country and around the world. Who is getting sick and who is dying? All of the evidence says vaccine works. And while it's true that vaccinated people can still get COVID, they are much less likely to get sick and far less likely to be hospitalized or die. A bad outcome is much more likely for those who are not vaccinated. We continue to work at identifying who and where the populations are that still need vaccines and how to convince them to get their shot. Last Friday, I joined the Maryland Department of Health at Africut's Barber and Beauty Shop in Silver Spring for their Haircuts for Health, Getting Beyond COVID effort to support equitable and convenient access to vaccinations for hard-to-reach communities. Africut's offered free haircuts to those who got vaccinated, and there was plenty of health staff on hand to answer questions and address concerns. In non-COVID news, this week is both Climate Week and Clean Energy Week. World leaders are gathering at the UN for a meeting on climate and energy issues. The magnitude of the climate emergency requires an all-hands-on-deck approach from all levels of government and society worldwide. Montgomery County is one of many jurisdictions around the world that have submitted an energy compact to the United Nations this week. Energy compacts are commitments being made by nation-states, companies, and local governments and nonprofits worldwide to advance progress on UN's Sustainable Development Goal 7, which aims to ensure access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable and modern energy for all. Montgomery County's Energy Compact highlights the vision of our Climate Action Plan and the actions that we must take between now and 2035 to advance progress toward our zero greenhouse gas emissions goals. As the saying goes, we need to think globally and act locally. I'm very proud of the Climate Action Plan that we released in June. It is a strategic plan that outlines the path for the county to reach our climate goals to eliminate greenhouse gas emissions by 2035. The Climate Action Plan also discusses the effects of changing climate on Montgomery County and outlines strategies to reduce our climate-related risks. This plan is one of the most aggressive in the country, and we have no time to waste in implementing its recommendations. Earlier this month, Hurricane Ida and the deadly after effects of torrential rain, flooding, and tornadoes brought climate change front and center here in the county and around the country, even as we grapple with COVID-19. Due to climate change, these storms are bigger, more intense, and more destructive year after year. We can't reverse this trend, but we can slow down the increase of these deadly impacts. This is not going to happen by simply wishing or praying for it to get better. We need smart policy and the political will and courage to make tough decisions. There are 2 climate action policies that are part of our climate action plan that I sent to the Council in the spring to address emissions from new and existing buildings. The Building Energy Performance Standard legislation, known as BEPS, will require owners of the largest and most energy-consuming buildings to take action to improve their building's energy performance. The other is the adoption of the International Green Construction Code, which would require that new buildings use less energy, generate more renewable energy, and create healthy spaces for our residents. Last weekend, I participated in the National Drive Electric Poolsville event. It is my understanding that this is the largest National Drive Electric Week celebration in the world. In Montgomery County, transportation makes up for 42% of our county's greenhouse gas emissions. This speaks to the importance of this event in marketing EVs to our residents and showing how zero-emission vehicles are the future. Single-occupancy vehicles still make up the bulk of greenhouse gas emissions, producing about 2/3 of the total emissions for the transportation category. We must focus not only on switching to electric vehicles, but we must also support public transportation, walking, biking, and micromobility. Our county government is leading by example. Saturday's EV car showed our 2 brand new electric police cruisers, Mustang Mach-E's, which we are piloting. We have also committed to a net zero emissions bus fleet by 2035. That effort will be complemented by adding clean hydrogen vehicles to that fleet. We've already have 4 EV buses on the road, and we'll have up to 44 electric ride-on buses by 2023. Additionally, I was also proud to pull together the deal to get a fleet of electric buses for MCPS. We also are promoting walkable, bikeable, and mass transit accessible smart growth development. This week, I attended the groundbreaking of Twin Brook Quarter, a multi-purpose commercial and residential development located at the Twin Brook Metro Station. This transit-friendly development will be anchored by Wegmans and will be a very attractive location and destination for companies looking to grow in or move to Montgomery County. I want to thank the BF SAW, the developers of this project, for their outreach and work with this local community. Mr. Saul made a point about the importance of working with the community and involving them in the project so that what gets built fits with the broader community vision. It was refreshing. As our economy continues to recover from the pandemic impacts, projects like Twin Brook Quarter will be very important to our job creation and smart growth goals. A few weeks ago, I discussed International Underground Railroad Month and the importance of having better knowledge and understanding and acceptance of our history. For far too long, we've whitewashed our history and ignored the ugly truths of our past. As part of our efforts towards equity, we are committed to making sure that all Montgomery County residents are exposed to the history we inherited and the legacies of injustice that remain in our society to this day. This coming weekend, the Montgomery County Remembrance and Reconciliation Commission will join Montgomery History and the Montgomery County Lynching Memorial Project Saturday, September 25th and September 26th on Sunday for Remembrance Weekend. These events will recognize 2 men who were victims of lynchings in Montgomery County in the late 19th century, Mr. John Diggs Dorsey and Mr. Sidney Randolph. For more information, visit www.montgomeryhistory.org/Remembrance Weekend. I hope you will join us for Remembrance Weekend. Thank you and have a great week.